That's way better. Let's get right into it, man. Tracy Willie checking in your tech. I don't know what going on. Welcome back to another video on Tracy Willie Pure Abundance. If this is your first time tuning into one of these videos, we encourage, inspire, and uplift each other to keep evolving into our greatest selves. If you are a returning viewer, you already know what time it is. Let's get it. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how rich people think differently. Most people think rich people have to work 100 hours a day, be super organized, don't have time for anything, constantly stressing. I mean, that's how I grew up thinking about rich people. So I know most people grew up thinking rich people are similar to those of what I just listed. We think they don't have time for nothing. They're just extremely busy and we don't know how they do it. And because of that, people be like, I don't want to be rich. I'm good. I love my life. I'm content with where I'm at. So today, I'm going to clear that up for you because it's not what you think. Rich people do not think like that. And please, I'm not going to speak on behalf of all rich people because I don't know everybody. But most rich people, or a good amount of rich people, think like what I'm about to break down for y'all. And it's not what y'all think. So let's get into it. Rich people think differently. I'm going to be going over 7 things that rich people are fully aware of, and they practice it daily in every single moment. They're fully aware of it. These 7 things right here. But before we get to those 7 things, I must inform you where they come from, okay? The law of mentalism, or the law principle, people use those interchangeably, but just for the sake of the source where it came from, I'm going to use it according to the source. The principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. Those all stem from this right here. These 2 things. Number 1, the law of attraction. If you never heard about the law of attraction, there's a documentary you can watch on YouTube, and there's also a book about the law of attraction. The law of attraction essentially states you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. Whatever frequency you're vibrating at is what you will manifest. Okay? Most people think the more I desire it, the more I want it, the quicker I'm gonna experience it, because I thought like that at one point. And that's why I had to do my research. I was actually first introduced to the law of attraction back in 2014. So this is still new information for me. It's so much new information, but once you get it, once it clicks, you will never be able to unlearn it. So the law of attraction states, again, you attract who you are, not what you want. Please understand how true manifestation works, okay? And then the second place this information comes from is the 7 Hermetic Principles. The 7 Hermetic Principles stems from a few different things. The person who put me on this game, though, and I must give credit to, is Nero Knowledge. Please go check out his work on YouTube. Very informative person. Him and Ralph Smart, and also Young Pharaoh, 3 YouTube goats. Salute to y'all. We appreciate the work that y'all do. But check this out. The 7 Hermetic Principles stems from a book called the Kybalion, right? The book called the Kybalion, you can also get that on YouTube. It's a free audiobook. Go download it. Go listen to it right now, or stream it, listen to it, whatever terminology you want to use. You don't have to download it if you don't want to. But 7 Hermetic Principles comes from the Kybalion. Shout out to Nero Knowledge. Can't forget the GOAT. You feel me? And then, so the 7 Hermetic Principles, the word Hermetic comes from the Greek god Hermes and the ancient god Thoth. Okay, Thoth was the original god of wisdom, writing, magic, knowledge, and years later, the Greek god was pretty much known for similar things. So them together is what's called Trismegistus. Okay, uh, pretty much like I said, the gods of magic and wisdom. So the Kabbalion, or the seven Hermetic principles, these seven Hermetic principles comes from the knowledge and the wisdom of Thoth, or the Greek god Hermes. Okay, everybody got that. That's pretty straightforward. Got it? Get it? Let's get into it, right? So we know that the seven principles comes from the law of attraction and also the Kabbalion. It's about to be interesting. Right here, I have a paper going over each principle. We're going to start with number one. This is the one thing that rich people are aware of, that normal people had no idea that rich people think like this. Super simple, bro. So the first one is the law of the principle of mentalism, stating all is mind. I'm going to read this to y'all. It says here, mentalism, right? The all is mind. The universe is mental. Thoughts lead to the manifestation of things and events. Thoughts create our state of existence. Uh, Thoughts create our state of existence and the quality of our experience. Therefore, be responsible for everything you create by being responsible for everything that you think. So that's pretty straightforward. All is mind. Careful with your thoughts. What you think about, you bring about. What you consume, consumes you. So simply put, the all, meaning everything in physical existence that you can see, and even everything in the non-physical existence that you cannot see, stems from within, comes from within. All is mind, okay? So it's going to reflect. Anything that's going on in here is going to reflect on the outside. And all of these are connected, and you're going to see what I mean by that, because I'm going to get more in depth about the whole reflection, right? But for now, just know rich people are fully aware of this first principle, all is mind. They know they must keep up here clean in order to experience a clean physical. First thing they're aware of, all right? Money. Let's get it. So the second thing rich people are aware of is the law, or the principle of correspondence, okay? This one says the microcosm is a reflection of the microcosm is a reflection of the macrocosm, big, small. And everything on the earth, the world that we live in is holographic, right? We're going to touch more on that in just a second. The law of correspondence states this. Check this out. That which is above is like that which is below. That which is below is like that which is above. The macrocosm, the very large, the totality, and the microcosm, the very small, very individual units that comprise the whole, are all reflections of each other. Okay? The universe is holographic. It is self-similar across all scales. As above, so below. As within, so without. You know what a hologram is? Like when they take the lights and create like a 3D object that you can see with light and beams and all that stuff. Well, that's your physical reality, and this is the system that creates that hologram, that 3D hologram that you're experiencing, okay? So going back to what we first said about all is mind, as within though, so without, for the law or the principle of correspondence. So everything that you got going on in here is going to reflect out there. It's not separate, okay? It's easy to think. That's why the ancient Mayans call this world, or that's why the Mayans call this world what did they call it? An illusion. Essentially, it's an illusion. I forgot the exact saying, but Nero said the same thing. He said, the ancient something referred to this world as the Maya, or like the illusion. In other words, everything that you see with your eyes is an illusion, because it's easy to be tricked, because me looking at this camera, I think that there's space in between me and this camera. You know, you think that there is space in between me and you right now. Okay? Go research the double slit experiment. You're going to see that space doesn't matter. Do your research. But the principle of correspondence states that essentially everything is a reflection of each other's. I am you, you are me. Just like that Rush Hour scene when he was like, Who are you? I'm you. You are me. Oh man, but pretty much everything the principle of correspondence says that we are all reflecting each other's. I'm you, you're me, and not in no weird way like that, but essentially we are all reflections of each other's. Everything that's in this physical reality comes from us, and we labeled it. We brought it to existence. So it comes from our thoughts and our mental state, whatever frequency we're vibrating at, that is what we're going to experience. Okay. Man, that one is deep. And then that's the second thing that rich people are aware of. They know that whatever is going on in here is going to reflect out there. So they're fully aware and conscious of the things that they got going on in here. Okay. So please be aware of that. They understand everything is reflected. So then the third thing that rich people are definitely aware of and makes them think differently is that they're aware of the law of vibration. The law of vibration, I'll quickly go over this one, says nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. At the most fundamental level, the universe and everything which compromises it is pure vibratory energy manifesting itself in different ways. The universe has no solidity as such. Matter is merely energy in a state of vibration. So nothing is solid. Matter is energy in a state of vibration. Matter, this whiteboard, is energy in a state of vibration. Me, I am energy in a state of vibration. If you zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, you'll start to see atoms, little energy portals spinning. But to our eyes, we look solid. I'm like, I'm solid, right? You can be tricked and think, oh, I'm fully solid. So then people start, you know, associating their environment and saying, well, you know what? Look at my environment. You know, this is a this sucks, or they just start labeling physical instead of saying, you know what? This comes from me because it's whatever frequency I'm vibrating at. That's what I'm experiencing right now. So the law of vibration says, bruh, everything is energy. In other words, everything you're looking at is energy. Everything. There's no separation. Everything is vibrating. There's no solidity. That's the third thing that rich people are fully aware of and fully practicing. So just do your best to remember this. Uh, the fourth thing rich people are fully aware of is the principle of polarity. The principle of polarity essentially states this, okay? Everything is dual, okay? Everything has its poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet, all paradoxes may be reconciled. So my definition is, I put opposites. Too much of something can loop back around. So essentially, think about a car, right? Going extremely fast. And that car has rims on the car, right? When that car is moving slow, you see the rims turning, right? When that car is just zooming by, it looks like the rims are at a standstill, okay? So the law of polarity is essentially stating that too much of anything will loop back around. So therefore, if a car is moving fast, it looks like it's still. We're vibrating so fast, we look solid. We vibrate so fast, we look solid. All right. Now, going back to the whole opposite thing, things have opposites, right? Hot and cold, happy and sad, so on and so forth. Positive, negative, all of those are the same thing. Okay. The only difference, it's not even a difference, but the only thing that appears to be different in them is the degrees in which they're vibrating at. Okay. Water, both hot and cold, is water. Okay. They're both water. From them being hot and cold, nobody can figure out at what point each one goes to the other. Same with light and dark. What is light and dark? They're only something when you compare them to each other's. So if you don't compare it to each other's, it's just energy. Okay? Just like time. Time only exists when you're thinking about the past or when you're thinking about the future. That's the only time exists. Besides that, you can transcend time and slow it down by being present in the present moment, being fully aware of your breath. Okay? I look at it like, just like, imagine like a line just going straight. This is the present moment, just straight, just vibration. You're not looking back or anything. That's you transcending time. So time time and the law of polarity is kind of similar, but let's stick on topic. I just wanted to give y'all an example. But polarity, man, like that means that nothing is anything. Nothing is negative and nothing is positive. You don't hate that person. You don't love that person. You don't like that person. Nothing is anything. You can't like it's just all energy. If you don't compare one to the other, it's all energy. Everything has its opposites. All truths are but half truths, as stated in the Kabbalion. Meaning, if somebody tell you this water is good, somebody else can be like, this water tastes like trash. Somebody can drop a glass of water and be like, this is terrible. The other person can drop a glass of water and be like, this is great. So it's all about the energy that you label it as is what it's going to be. It comes from you. Okay. Polarity. Everything has its opposites. Everything. You can go on and on and on and on and on about all the opposites on this planet. And if you just don't compare them to each other, you'll realize it's just all energy. They're just vibrating at different degrees in which you label them. And then that's when it become that of which you label it. Very interesting. And then the principle of rhythm, the fifth thing that rich people are fully aware of is the law of rhythm. Okay, the law of rhythm. This one is interesting too. They're all interesting. They're all just amazing information. I feel like everybody should be aware of. So if you get in on this information, salute to you. Keep it going. Keep searching. Keep going within. You got this. So the law of rhythm states that everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and all things fall. The pendulum swing, right? The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Rhythm got your back. Rhythm will always compensate for you, right? Pretty much my definition is being calm, the ocean, and bound to. I'm gonna break them down. So being calm during the law of rhythm or the principle of rhythm says pretty much the sun gonna rise and the sun gonna fall, or the sun gonna rise and the sun gonna set, right? So just like the ocean, when you see the ocean, the shore, ocean shore, see the water goes out to the shore and it pulls back. It goes out to the shore and it pulls back, right? So the reason I say stay calm is because the sun is bound to rise, right? The sun is bound to set. The ocean is bound to come out and the ocean is bound to come back in. So with that in my family, rich people are fully aware of this because they don't get caught up in no moments. Meaning, if they have a client and the client is frustrated with them, the client is like, man, are you making me mad? Your product is this. They know that that person with those emotions are going to pass. Just like the rhythm says, the principle of rhythm says, the sun is going to rise and the sun is going to set. So this person getting all high and routed up, the rich person is looking at them like they're just like the sun rising. They're just beaming right now. But I know to be calm in this moment and let the sun set, because eventually that person who's raging out is going to come down. Okay? Being aware of the principle of rhythm will keep you calm in all circumstances because you know nothing is permanent. You know it's going to come back. Okay? When you have an emotion, when you're happy or when you're sad, does it last forever? Nope. Okay? When you're excited about something, does it last? Nope. You can hit for 500K right now, right? You might be happy in the moment, but it's going to go away. You know, somebody dear to you can, go to the next level, can pass away. You're going to be sad, right? But you're not going to be sad forever. Okay? And with that in mind, you also want to think to yourself, if it's bound to happen and you know it's going to happen, then you can stay calm, okay? Because if you do the opposite, family, you're going to be getting played out here. You're going to be getting pimped by the universe, okay? Meaning, if you're not respecting the principle of rhythm and you hit for 500K, you're going to be like, bro, we're going to Bali today. Call up the fam bam, call up people I ain't even spoke to in a while. I'm on. Let's get right. Bottles, hotel, Airbnb, it's on me. Matter of fact, call the rental place, get a Lambo. It's on me. Reservation set. You're going to get super duper high, right? Let's say you got a house that's 500K worth and it burns down. You're going to be super, super low. You're going to be like, man, there go my property, there go my asset. I knew I should have been paying my insurance. Damn. If you don't respect the law of rhythm, you get caught up in highs and you get caught up in lows. So when it's sunny outside, you're like, man, it's a perfect day. Let's get it. But then it's raining outside or it gets dark outside and you're like, man, this is terrible, bro. I hate when it's raining, man. Man, we can never do anything. No, bro. It's about hitting for 500K, staying calm. Losing 500K, staying calm. It's about the sun rising, you okay with it. It's about the sun going down, it's raining outside, you okay with both of them. Notice, okay? That's how rich people think differently, all right? We cooking. That's the fifth thing that rich people are aware of, man. And for those of you who don't know, I got 5 on my face because it just represents change. The only thing that's guaranteed on this planet is change. That's the only thing that is permanent, is change. All right? I'm big on change. Change is everything. So now the sixth thing that rich people are aware of and makes them think differently is the principle of cause and effect. This one is also interesting. The principle of cause and effect states, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. Bars. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Okay, let's cut. My definition of cause and effect simply states there are no coincidences. Okay, for every effect, meaning for every physical experience or any encounter that you experience, even mentally, comes from you, comes from something, comes from something. Everything comes from something, okay? Nothing comes from nothing. That don't even make sense. So everything has to come from something, okay? So what that means is that there's no coincidences. The things that you, like the phone that you're watching this on or the device that you're watching this on, you wanted that at one point. That's what you desired to experience at one point. You did it. Congrats. You know, the life that you got, if you look around your environment right now, that's you. You get credit for that. Not nobody else. You get credit for it. Okay? Because you are the cause and this is the effect. Okay? When rich people use this, they take full responsibility for their lives in every single moment. When the average person who don't use this, don't practice this, and is not aware of it, they're getting pimped by the universe again. They're like, man, this car I'm driving, like I knew I should never bought it. That person played me. You know, like blaming everything and everybody else but themselves for their current frequency, for their current circumstances. No. You are the cause. You are the reason why you're experiencing these effects around you. Okay? And like Nero said, this is bars. You cannot change an effect with an effect. So if you're not happy with your physical current situation, bruh, there's nothing you can do physically to change it. You have to come in here and make some adjustments. The best way I like to put it is like this. Everything in my physical reality is a delay. So everything that I'm experiencing right now, even making this video right now, it's a delay. This is based off yesterday. So everything that I'm seeing with my 2 eyes is because of yesterday. Okay? And that means that I'm the cause. I'm the reason for this. So if I'm not happy with my physical situation, then I get the ability to go in here, make some tweaks, clear out my catching cookies, update my softwares, and give it some time. And soon come the delay, you're going to see everything that I've tweaked up, it's going to manifest. It's going to be here in the physical in due time. Okay, so when people, I'll get deep, but I just want to get through the list, bruh. Because all of these, you can make a video on all of these and just go in on all of them individually. So the law of cause and effect just simply states, man, there's no coincidences, bruh. Everything comes from something, okay? When you're thinking about somebody and then they end up calling you or texting you, it's because you put out that energy. You was really thinking about it. You know, you think that you're going to pass this test, you most likely are because you're thinking of it. You already confirmed it. You know, you think you're going to fail, you're wrong. I was on a Zoom call with a guy not long ago about trading, and he was just like, man, if you think you're going to be a successful trader, you're right. If you don't think that you're going to be a successful trader, you're also right. Simple. Cause and effect. Be fully aware, family. And last but definitely not least, man, is the principle of gender. I know I keep saying law and principle, but I'm just using them interchangeably because I like to label it as the law, but just respecting with the source principles. So now the last one says the principle of gender says mental gender is the state of coexistence between masculine and feminine aspects of the human mind, right? One, or excuse me, our left brain hemisphere largely facilitates the masculine aspect of the mind, or intellect, logic, analytical, and linear thought processes, while the right brain hemisphere largely facilitates the feminine aspect, or intuition, creativity, compassion, and holistic thought processes, right? So essentially, this principle states that everything on this planet, not just people, has a masculine aspect to them and has a feminine aspect to them. And this law just simply states to use them interchangeably, coexist with them, for that's a better word instead of interchangeably. Like, allow them to both flow within you. So the next time you hear somebody say, I'm not creative, I don't know how y'all do that. You guys are so creative. I have never been creative. You're wrong. You are creative. You are. You have that brain in you. So you are creative. And the next time you hear somebody say, I don't know how rich people become so successful, like, how can they organize all their money? How can they organize all them employees? You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. You have that side of brain in you as well. Okay. So that's something that rich people are aware of. You know, they're aware that they have both aspects of in their mind. You know, the right brain and the left brain, masculine and feminine, creativity, logical. So I don't want to hear that. Everybody has the ability to become rich. All right. So family, gonna wrap it up there, man. Just as a recap, this is how rich people think differently. The reason they think differently is because they're fully aware of these seven things. These seven principles stems from the law of attraction. If you listen to the law of attraction or you read the law of attraction, they're literally going to mention all seven of these. And then it also stems from the seven hermetic principles, which is written in the book called The Kabbalion. Nero put me on this game. Shout out to Nero. And pretty much uh, the the reason it says hermetic comes from the Greek god Hermes and the ancient god Thoth. Both of them together is Trismegistus. They're the creators, or yeah, I don't want to say creators, but they studied magic and wisdom and knowledge and all that good stuff. And pretty much the Kabbalion, you know, breaks down the wisdom that they got from them into the book. But of course, there's different variations of the book, so just whatever resonates with your soul, you know. But yeah, man, I love this information, and if you use this information accordingly, I promise you your life will change. So be aware of these seven hermetic principles, and congrats on your success. Shout out to you. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Easy.